Hey, hi there. Hope y'all have had a very, very good past weekend. I am basically off for the remainder of the month. I played my last game with my team, Apollo Amsterdam, the 10th team, this weekend on Saturday. Had a good win. Uh, and yeah, in the process, while I also am playing, I'm also coaching the team a lot. So I actually came across a very, very interesting circumstance. And something I wanted to actually touch on for today's player talk. So there are a couple of things that actually can translate intangibles to tangibles. And that's what I wanted to focus on. And I think the biggest thing of them all that actually translates a lot from what you can see with your eyes to tangible results is body language. Now, I mean, um, it's something I actually instinctively look at when I'm training either pro players or youth development players, or when I'm basically giving these personal trainings I do throughout the course of the week. But I mean, body language is such a telltale sign of a lot of things. Um, One, practically the effort that you basically spend on offense and defense, that comes out. And along, let's say, as kind of like subheadings, you can look at frustration, the level of joy you actually put out on court, and the willingness towards doing anything that you basically do have. They all come about. And more than anything, I mean, this is a team. Our game is a team sport. So the level of camaraderie, so um, being teammates, and how you air out your potential frustrations or your willingness to help out the team get to a better place, that all really is a part of the whole body language effect. And it's kind of like a snowball circumstance when you kind of think of it in a nutshell. But yeah, more than anything else, body language really is very, very critical in that sense. And I mean, this is during trainings, practices, the game, and even when you're done. I mean, win or lose, how you hold up your body and what you potentially do, the reactions that you show, everything they have a very clear and indicative, let's say, meaning towards what really transpires. And this I really found very interesting because I mean this weekend's game, all right, my team won, but I was looking at the other team, the opposing team, and those guys were down by 5 points first, 10 points, then 15, 20. But body language wise, they were constantly supporting each other. They were not trying to be frustrated. They were trying to, let's say, keep a level of joy going towards playing the game. The fact that they were all healthy, the fact that they were running and gunning, they were trying to rebound, they were trying to put in the effort to actually try to just be present in that motion. They just basically were trying to keep on playing the game. And that really resonated a lot with me. And it kind of hit me while the game was just kind of over for a minute or so. And I mean, to me, that was very, very important to be able to see. And I kind of like made a mental note of this and then wanted to kind of take a few days and think even further about it. And yeah, I mean, I basically wanted to share that with you guys. Now, another thing that I actually also do want to touch on is the kind of way you communicate. I mean, in some aspect, you can say that this is also connected to your body language. But I mean, like us as humans, I mean, for those, I mean, most probably a lot of you already are aware of this, but I mean, like uh, 90%, or actually even 95% of the way of how we communicate, it's through our body language, and the remainder is pretty much kind of like a verbal communication. So, uh, and even though we're, let's say, beings that actually verbally have the, let's say, circumstance to be able to communicate with our voices. A lot of how we actually put things about is through, let's say, gestures, and I mean the whole fact that we can actually potentially show each other what we want to meaningfully express is in that case important. But again, so what I mean by communication also in that sense, let's say, touches on the body language part of what I wanted to mention. So I mean, you can either be positive in the way you communicate or you can be negative about it. And there are certain people that are pretty much flat out either, I consider them as stoic, so kind of like they try to stay neutral, but at the end of the day, usually a lot of stoic people, what they gradually fall under is the negative side of communication, in my perspective, at least. I mean, no, let's say, nothing expressed to anybody that I know specifically, but yeah. Um, and again, I find that these negative communicating people, they usually are much more difficult to teach and they find it harder to learn throughout the course of the game because I mean basketball is an extremely dynamic sport, and if you as a human being find it difficult to be able to communicate, let's say your, let's say, um, perspective or philosophy about the game, then it's going to be very very tough for you to try to, let's say, get to a certain point to point out exactly what you want to be achieved or you want to achieve yourself on court. In that sense, it's also important to be able to relay the type of messages on time, in a very correct manner, and as directly as possible, or when needed, the right way, so to say. Now, with all that said, so yeah, let's say the negative perspective of communicating verbally out the way. Um, think of this as a player when you hear your coaching staff or people that basically know you try to give you feedback. How critical are you about taking that really in? Because it's also important for you to be positive about what other people see and be able to react on that. Now, there is one player specifically that I love to be around, and I mean, I consider him a dear friend, and I'm going to name him no matter what. So, my shout out goes to Yito Kok. He's an amazing guy. And I mean, whenever I have communication with him, first thing that I recall is the fact that he's a smiling guy and he's flat out positive about how he goes about the game. To me, that's very, very important. And you do not regularly come across guys like Ito within the game of basketball, especially in the kind of circle that I'm in. I mean, there are people that are critical, there are that are cynical at times, that are potentially maybe bordering on the line of negative, or that try to be neutral. But Ito is a guy that is, let's say, on the amazing end of being positive, and he tries to play with a level of utmost respect to what he does, and I admire him for that. But like, if people out there that are actually watching this are looking for some kind of let's say physical form of positive communication, watch Itakok on the court. The way that he conducts himself, I mean, I'm not talking about the amazing dunks that he has or let's say the amazing defense that he does. Watch his body language. My God, that guy can just flat out be a level of positivity for his team at the right times. And I rarely see levels of frustration that come out from him during the course of a game. In that sense, it's amazing how he really goes above and beyond. And I mean, I've had the sheer luck of calling him as a friend and as a client throughout the years. So it's amazing to be able to see that. Another person that I definitely want to put over here and give a shout out to is Nathan Kuta. He recently was called back by Dutch national men's basketball team for his amazing efforts that he's been showing. And even right now with his team at Charleroi, he does a lot of crazy good work. And he too, amazing guy, extremely positive, and is looking for that next level to be able to hit. He has a target, and he is looking at achieving that target in the up and coming near future. And I mean, again, Nathan is such a human being. For those players that are actually looking for to understand what I mean about positivity on court, watch him too. You will definitely be amazed by what I mean by that. So yeah, I wanted to pretty much kind of like drop these pearls of wisdom for today for Players Talk. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed these kind of tidbits on what I wanted to express. I mean, definitely two critical points, I'd say, in terms of things that translate intangibles. Intangibles very well are really body language and levels of communication, especially on a verbal sense. So yeah, again, shout out to Yito and Nathan with regards to let's say being examples of really levels of positivity on court. And yeah, hope that you guys also have been loving things on our YouTube channel. Please do, if you haven't so yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for those of you that actually want to follow us on different social media channels as well, I will definitely say check out Twitter, Instagram, YouTube in general. If you're in my professional network, check me on LinkedIn for sure. And yeah, um, guys, so I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break and I'll continue on with doing these in the new year. So, wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year already. And hope to be able to catch you guys very, very soon again.